You're the intro guy, man.
All right.
Kind of your thing.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Sorry, we're back again.
We're back again. Don't make us hurt you. Definitely subscribe. All right, so we have Frank, myself, and Shannon with us today. What we wanted to speak with you all about is semaglutide, since it has quite a bit of popularity now. I'm going to have Frank and Shannon ask me some questions, maybe some things that some of their patients have posed to them, and we'll kind of talk about questions and answers concerning semaglutide and how you manage it and how you come off of it and best ways to use it. So I'll kind of open it up to you guys to...
Well, the biggest question I have is, I think a lot of, with the people, my clients that have done it, they ask about, some people do real well with it. They take it, they do fine, they have no nausea, no nothing.
Yeah.
There's some people that take it, and like the one client, she throws up all the time. She still takes it, but she loses weight. So, what happens if someone is getting nausea all the time? Is it too high of a dose? Is it just need to be adjusted? Is it what do you got to do for that?
So that sounds like it's probably a dose adjustment. So if she's throwing up all the time, she must be taking some sort of a considerable dose for her specifically.
Yeah, because she don't need to take it anymore. She's like this big now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really could be that she's on a higher dose than what she needs to be, or she needs to come down to a much smaller maintenance dose and work her way off of it, I guess, eventually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that sounds like a dosage issue. I've seen people where the only time they get nauseous is when they increase their dose to the next highest dose.
Okay.
Then after they've been on that dose for a couple weeks, nausea goes away. Or the nausea goes away relatively quickly, but maybe they had to inject a couple times with the nausea.
So someone like this client, like if they've already lost all their weight, especially if they have the side effects, would you taper the dosage off, or do you just abruptly stop taking it? How does that work when you go to get off of the medication once you've achieved your weight loss goal?
So I would definitely taper it.
Okay.
I think if you do a step down type taper, that's probably the best scenario for people. Just so that they don't get those hunger cravings kind of coming roaring back at full strength again. What I've noticed from people on semaglutide is, I think most people want to taper down. I haven't seen a whole lot of people come to me that have just gone off cold turkey, at least being managed with a physician. They might have gone off cold turkey on their own, right, with their own decision, but I don't think I've seen too many practitioners actually take people off kind of cold turkey like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say step it down in the same fashion that you ramped up your dose, either starting at 15 or 20 units, going up to 30, 40, 50. Some vials, and maybe it depends on the strength, but some practitioners would put people on 1 cc or 1 milliliter. Mm-hmm. I tend to put people about 0.5 or 50 units as a maintenance dose, but I would say stepping them down is good. And then also to deal with the nausea side of things, I think there's a couple of things that you could do. You can try to take it with food. With semaglutide, you can take it both without or with food. Mm. That's not the case with all peptides. There's a lot of peptides that increase growth hormone. You want to take those hours away from food. The semaglutide is not in that same class of peptides. So I'd say try to take it with food. I would say take it before bed instead of in the morning. So take it before bed so that maybe the majority of the nausea is not experienced during your workday. Mm-hmm. And then I could say you could try to use some anti-nausea type treatments. So that could be Zofran as a medication. Mm-hmm. You could try to use maybe more natural treatments. You could use
vodka?
Ginger. Well,
no, that don't work. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
But so yeah, you could do like ginger, you could do peppermint, you could use, I'm trying to think of some other.
What about like those acupressure points?
Yeah,
Have
you
ever
could
seen
do
those things?
You could use acupressure. I'm trying to think. I don't have the specific point in mind, but yeah, there is definitely acupressure that you can kind of press on and get that anti-nausea effect. I think it's the pressure point right here. I'm kind of blanking on the specific meridian point, but it's the meridian point also for seasickness. Mm-hmm. So it's very similar, and nausea for pregnant women as well.
You can do that if you're getting seasick, just do it right there.
Yeah,
Right
and
up.
sometimes they'll make bands
They
that
have
are
bands
really
that you
tight,
can buy.
and that band will kind of press on the skin, kind of right around the wrist area for people, and that can help to alleviate pressure because it's on that acupuncture meridian. So there are some things that people can do to help with nausea and bringing the dose down comfortably.
So, Doc, what does it exactly do when you take it? What, like I talk, like all my clients I've talked to, they say like, I just don't want to eat. I like a quarter something. Say, I don't want to eat any more of that.
Yeah.
What is it doing? Is it a psychological? Is it something that's changing in your system? What's it doing in your system to make you think that way?
So essentially, it's slowing down the digestive process, which would be maybe the main mechanism that it does. I do think it helps the body to utilize insulin better, so it'll help you to become a little bit more insulin sensitive, but it's slowing down gastric emptying, so it's slowing down the food from leaving the stomach getting into the small intestine. Now that slowing down aspect keeps you fuller longer.
Right.
Now fiber kind of does similar, and I prescribe fiber to people too, and that also slows down gastric emptying, which in turn helps to reduce blood sugar and helps you to become more insulin sensitive. So it has that mechanism of action, and that's probably the most common thing that I've had people tell me is I'm just not as hungry. I just don't have those hunger cravings. And I think it is working on the level of maybe some of your hunger hormones like ghrelin and leptin. It's probably going to help you to become more, I guess, leptin sensitive. Leptin is the satiating hormone. So if your leptin levels are higher, you don't want to become leptin resistant because that means that you never feel full. But if your leptin levels are elevated, or if they're sensitive, that means that your body quickly adapts to leptin and tells you, hey, we're full, you don't need to eat anymore. Ghrelin is more of the hunger hormone. I just think of ghrelin like
ghrelin,
your stomach is.
Stomach's growling.
So if it is working on the aspect of some of those hormones, then it is helping to kind of blunt the hunger craving aspect of things. But the slowing of the gastric emptying would probably be the main thing.
Now, is there some downside to slowing the gastric emptying? Are there risks associated with that, like for your digestive system?
Risks for slowing down gastric emptying? Probably not. I'd probably say there's probably not major risks that I can at least think of now. I'm trying to think if somebody has. I mean, if they had maybe some sort of bowel pathology or bowel disease, that could be a risk if food was moving slower through that area, potentially. If they had a bowel obstruction, which is kind of a more emergent situation,
Right.
They need to get that addressed before they do anything. But
So maybe
moving
think
more
that-
slowly, staying hydrated. So if things are moving more slowly through the colon's going to absorb more water. So their stool could be harder and not as soft, potentially, if it's moving more slowly through the colon. So staying hydrated would be a good strategy for keeping things coming out nicely.
Flowing. Yeah.
Flowing. You want them to keep coming out flowing. So
Nice and slide
that
out.
would be something that could work. I don't know. But
I'm a dork. Sorry.
if you had diverticuli, which is like pocketing in the colon, that's something that could be affected regardless if you're on semaglutide or not. But you can always get food that go into these in-pocketing of the diverticuli. You'd want to get that addressed.
And the thing I would think is, even though people think, oh, I'm on semaglutide, I can eat what I want. So obviously, if you want to stay on a healthy diet, eat the right foods, eat the right things. Don't, I'm on semaglutide, so I can go eat McDonald's or Burger King. You want to basically stay on a healthy diet. So when you get off it, that you're able to stay on that, your body's already used to doing it.
So I do agree with that.
Yeah.
If people were to eat junk food and they just eat like a lot less, it's like one meal that's just pure junk food, they would still probably lose some weight just because they have reduced their calories. Their body is essentially, they're intermittent fasting, even if they're breaking that fast with junk food. So their body would still be getting a little bit more insulin sensitive because they're lengthening the the fasting window, and they're shortening the eating window, the feeding window. That all helps with losing weight and improving your metabolism. But you don't want to break a fast on sucky food. You don't want to do that. So if you want to do the best on semaglutide or these GLP-1 agonist medications, like even tirzepatide, you want to do all the other things right. To both really increase your chances of losing healthy weight, fat, and not losing a lot of muscle. So you do want to eat healthy foods. You want to be still in the gym. You don't really want any of that to change.
Right.
You don't lose muscle.
Yeah.
Because you cut your calories down. If you're not eating enough food, you might lose the muscles. You want to do that.
And on that point, the studies, when they did the studies with semaglutide, they were done over a year period, at least the initial ones with type 2 diabetics. But people lost a certain percentage of body weight, and that body weight includes muscle, it includes bone density, it includes fat, and it includes water. So they didn't necessarily look specifically at how much muscle versus how much fat, at least initially in the studies that I saw. So if you want to hold on and maintain muscle, you want to increase your protein intake with the semaglutide, just because it's going to help you to lose weight total. But if you want that weight to be fat specific, or if you're holding on to too much subcutaneous water, you want to increase your protein intake, which is a kind of a signal to your muscles, to kind of signal to your body to hold on to muscles, provide the amino acids for your body to quickly build the muscles back up if they are being broken down. If you're not eating that much, your body will go after your muscles a little bit initially. So to kind of prevent that from happening, you do want to give your body the building blocks.
So more protein, maybe less carbs, more protein, trying to hold on to your muscle.
Yeah, I mean, ideally,
some carbs, obviously.
Ideally,
Weight
high
train.
protein,
weight train,
high protein, high fat, low carbohydrate, which is ketogenic, and working out. So when you do work out in the gym, your body is going to kind of get in the mode of muscle building, because you've caused micro trauma in the muscle, you've broken down the muscle. So the body is going to be looking for amino acids to build it back up again and build those fibers back up.
Plenty of peanut butter. Right?
Lots of peanut butter.
That's
The big old jug.
that's the healthy healthy food of all. Peanut butter. But anyway.
So my next question is, what, in talking to many clients who have been on this medication, if we're just conversationally talking about it, whenever I ask about what the exit strategy is, like, so what's the plan once you've lost your weight? Then what's the plan? Most of them seem to say, I don't know, well, I haven't thought about that yet. So in your experience or in your research, have you found there's an exit strategy that works best? Or is the plan typically to stay on some kind of maintenance dose forever?
I think I have always been of the opinion that it's good you can kind of cycle on it, but I don't think people have to be on it for a lifetime. I don't necessarily think that should be the case. Whether that is the case or not, like if a person just doesn't have the ability, they don't respond very well to it, they really need that kind of help, that might be the case. But I think in the large majority of people, for the weight loss goals that they're looking for, once you achieve that goal, you can start to stepwise down, reduce your dose. I think maybe some good strategies for coming off of semaglutide would be to create good habits while you're on it, so that when you come off of it, you are already in the habit of keeping that weight off and kind of maintaining your new body, essentially. So I'd say some of those habits could be weight training. If you weren't weight training before, you get into the habit of doing that. Now you're weight training even when you no longer are on the semaglutide, and maybe your hunger starts to ramp up again. You have that weight training aspect where you're burning more calories on a daily basis. So you're able to hold that weight off from coming back on because you're weight training. And when you weight train, your body will burn excess calories for 36 hours after a workout. So if you're weight training once every day, once every other day, you're still getting that fire going, and you're burning more calories than you did when you were on the semaglutide, and maybe you didn't, you weren't working out. I think other things, getting your diet locked in, or at least clean it up. I've never been a person to tell people, hey, here's a specific diet to go on, and this is how you lose weight, and then once you lose the weight, okay, you can kind of go back to willy-nilly kind of thing,
Right.
whatever you want to do. I don't think it should be like that. If you achieve this new body, you also have to maintain it with a changed diet, not necessarily a fad diet, but a modified or changed diet. So typically that's going to look like a little bit more ketogenic, more Mediterranean, I think is what most people can utilize to keep the weight off. And that looks like high protein, healthy fats, high protein, high fat, and low carbohydrate. You can have your fun days, you can have your days when you kind of go out drinking and stuff like that. And maybe you end up seeing Frank. You might see Frank out and about having fun that one day a week that he goes. But you can have fun with it like that, but to be dialed in with the rest of the week, kind of keeping your alcohol at least moderated, maybe just on the weekends, but at least moderated, that's probably going to help you out creating new habits so that when you do come off of it, you don't get a rebound weight gain, which I think is, people don't tend to get the same type of rebound weight gain on semaglutide that I've seen with patients taking other weight loss means like phentermine. People who are on stimulants that are appetite suppressants, they, I think, tend to react more negatively when they come off because those stimulants worked on a different mechanism than the semaglutide does. So it's easier to kind of hold off when you come off the semaglutide.
Don't you think it would also wage where, okay, is it healthier to be 100 pounds overweight, or is it healthier to just be on semaglutide all the time? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it'd have to be like, where do you draw that this person's going to hold 100 extra pounds because you're not on it? It almost would benefit them to probably stay on it and keep the weight off. I mean, as far as, how would you evaluate that? I mean, because now what I would think, you're 100 pounds extra, or you're on Ozempic and you're 100 pounds less and you feel healthier. You know.
So for people who are in that scenario, they might have to be on it an extended amount of time. If they're just really not able to control it, their body doesn't respond that well to it. That may have to be the case, or they don't trust themselves. Like, hey, I just don't have the self-control to do it, so I'm going to need help.
Or I imagine there's some fear in getting off of it, right? Because most people have, done the up and down with the weight loss so many times that once you lose that weight, I'm sure you're afraid to get off the medication and put it right back on.
And that's the thing too. It's just a matter. That's what Doc was saying. It's develop a healthy lifestyle when you're on it, and you're already eating that way. Your body
good habits,
new
habits.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you're eating healthy already. So your body's like, okay, I've already been doing this. Okay, I got the Ozempic, but I'm used to these foods. I'm used to eating the good stuff. So.
And there's like, when you come off of semaglutide, or if you want more natural appetite suppressants that are not stimulants, there are some things out there that can help with that. You can modulate your neurotransmitter levels, like you can take 5-HTP, which helps with serotonin. You can take L-tyrosine. I currently use some of these already, but you can kind of modify neurotransmitter levels, which help at the level of the brain and the adrenal glands to kind of make you feel satisfied, happy, and with a stable mood, where you might prevent overeating or stress eating if your neurotransmitters are at adequate levels. So if people are overweight because of stress eating, and you remove the stress aspect of it, and you help to kind of stabilize their mood, then you are kind of helping to suppress the appetite, even if it's at a more indirect mechanism there.
So maybe that would be something people could add in as they're transitioning off those medications to kind of help just curb that.
And it kind of has to identifying what caused the weight gain in the first place.
Got it.
Was stress eating involved? Is it cortisol that's doing this, or are you just in a really high stress environment, high stress job? Is it stress from relationships, stress from whatever is going on in life? Is that the cause? And okay, you kind of have to address the cortisol. So when you come off of it, you don't just go right back. That's addressing the root cause, which is both goes back to the Greeks and is part of naturopathic medicine as well.
I think that's all we got for you.
Okay.
You got any more questions?
Oh.
All right, so if you guys have any questions about semaglutide or tirzepatide, how to get it, you can certainly contact us. As a naturopathic doctor, I can prescribe those things for you. We'd have to have a consultation first, and maybe some blood work would always be
Tell me your
good.
number. I'll just tell you what.
So yeah, my number to
Yeah.
contact me would be 480-708-5155. And then we can post our emails, our websites down below in the description box for all of our future videos, so that if you guys ever wanted to come see us, talk with us over the phone, you can certainly both email us and talk with us using the contact information in the description box. So if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and we won't hurt you if you subscribe.
Yes, we will.
But we might hurt you if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you don't.
Yes. True.
And we will see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Okay.